You guys didn't actually think that we would go through the very last day of 2024 without me coming on video, chiming in, saying, hey, what's up? It was nice knowing you this year. See you guys next year. Happy New Year's, guys. Boy, this year went by so fast. That seems to be a very cliche thing that we say at the end of every year. Man, this year went by so quick. What in the hell happened? Not a damn thing. um, a lot went on. It was a very challenging year. Business was challenging. We had our ebbs and tides. Health was challenging. It still is. And The unfortunate thing is we use and signal the end of the year as a beacon for us to make change when we could do it all year long. Um, what's your New Year's resolution? Is that something that people still say today? This year I plan to lose 50 pounds. This year I'm gonna stop drinking, or I'm going to smoke less, or I'm gonna be more involved with family, or I'm gonna do more things with my kids. I don't know. It's like, those are the type of things that we could all do at any point in a year, but yeah, I don't know. It's the things I guess never change. So whatever you guys decide to do in 2025, I hope it's a good one. Whatever change you make. Um, it might happen right after the beginning of the year. You might sign up for the gym. You might, do whatever. But, just know that you're going to give it your all, whatever you decide to do. I wanted to take some time, and I know that this is kind of like, man, we're going to end off 2024 Blue Ridge Silverhound to talk about postal shipping, out of all things. You're damn right I'm going to talk about it. Because just in the last 30 days, if we were going to go back to December 1st, right now, 30 days strong, I have sent out, I think, about 300 packages. Like, five or six of them came up missing. I had one package that was coming to me that ended up lost. And I didn't get any insurance. It was only like a $30 item, but at the end of it all, in hindsight, I was like, damn, that's $30. Um, yeah, it was a pretty ridiculous high volume kind of month for shipping. But ever since I started implementing Whatnot as part of my business, along with doing eBay and selling a few things on Facebook Marketplace and all that stuff, you know, it's been pretty wild. I've spent thousands of dollars on shipping supplies. I've spent countless amount of working hours to package everything. As good as you think you do it, sometimes it doesn't work out. You can build that thing like Fort Knox, but it doesn't prevent a perfect delivery. That makes sense? It doesn't guarantee a perfect delivery. Ha, that's what I meant to say. Um 2025, I'm sure no less, is going to be very challenging because you're only as good as your business partners are. Well, what does that make sense? What does that mean? Well, since we're on the topic of shipping, the quality that you put out as a business, and we've been talking about it all year long, what's it going to take? And we're going to do more of these videos, by the way, to kick off 2025. You guys are going to like it. What's it going to take today to kickstart and self start your own business from home? or from a small office or whatever. A lot of the things that we depend on, because oftentimes when I go out to get inventory, right, it's like it does. You have to rely on other people to provide the inventory to you at a very good price. So you have to depend on that person of being the most economical. You also have to depend on that person with getting that goods to you in a suitable amount of time, and you got to make sure that the product is high quality. You know, well, I mean, well, what good is it if you ordered, a like 10 rolls of Silver Eagles when they all have white spots on them? You know, that's a direct reflection on not only your business partner that you're working with, that you're buying from, but that's also a direct reflection on you, because when you go and sell them and you promise A and they get Z, that's not going to look too good. And, when it comes to business, it's all about developing relationships. All right. If anybody says otherwise, they're fucking lying. Because, again, you develop relationships with people. You guys trust each other. You guys have this good working relationship that you guys are good. Business will keep on businessing, and your customers are going to be happy. So it doesn't make me feel good when I have to constantly apologize on behalf of one of what I consider to be, when it comes to business partners, there are a few uncontrollable ones. Shipping. Most notably, the post office. We all knew we were getting to the post office conversation. I absolutely do not like apologizing on behalf of the USPS. But I felt like I've done that more recently. I'm like, I don't work for them. So why am I apologizing on their behalf? But I do it so that way I could cover my ass and really, truly, genuinely, feel for you guys. For some of you that don't receive a coin or a product or something to that effect, especially some of you that spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars with me, and then you end up with a package missing that, you had spent like $800-900 on. Okay, this is actually a real thing. I'm not going to divulge on any sensitive information about the gentleman whose package got lost. But this is a real thing. The post office has a habit of taking, like, they're allergic to accountability at the end of the day, right? They put the blame and the onus on you if, say, for example, well, why didn't you buy insurance? Why didn't you get signature confirmation? Well, I've done all that stuff. All right. I've done the signature confirmation. The package gets lost, it gets delivered to someone else, and someone forges a signature, and then you end up delivering it anyways. But where's the coverage in that? How are you going to reimburse me for your own fuck up? And it's like, well, if you didn't buy postal insurance, they have the habit of deflecting. Okay, it doesn't matter who you talk to in the postal system. They don't want to take accountability for something that you could have prevented. Well, if so and so had signed for it, and where it really was supposed to go to this guy, why didn't you buy insurance to double cover yourself? And they're going to push that on you. I'm like, well, it's your fucking employee that got into this bind in the first place. Do you not have, I mean, do you constantly just don't give a damn? And it's like, yeah, I'm going to look after my people. Well, how about you start doing an internal investigation on your people to make sure they're trustworthy? Because guess what? USPS Postal Service employees, it's not like they're making $50 an hour. A lot of these people are making like $25 an hour, to do some pretty damn laborious work. Let's be honest, it's laborious as hell to do some of the things they do. How I know? Because I know a few people that work for the USPS, and some of them have tenure, and they make 35, $40 an hour. It's like, I can't wait to retire because I'm sick and tired of this shit. So where's all this leading to? Yeah, we could all agree that the ultimate blame when something gets lost is to the post office, right? Will they do anything about it? Unless you've, slashed every T and you've dotted every I or lowercase j or whatever the case is, unless you've done all those things and invested hundreds of dollars of your money to protect some of these packages, you're basically screwed. You're basically screwed if these things go lost because at any given time, and I'm not saying that postal service workers are absolute saints, they sure as hell are not. There's a lot of thieves out there that work for the USPS. But what if I told you the ultimate thief in all of this is actually the USPS? The whole damn entity. Guess what? It's all because of this. What is this you say? You guys have probably seen this. You walk into a post office, and this seems like the best damn product that they could sell you. Guess what? Because the box is free, ladies and gentlemen. This right here is a small rate, flat priority box. They generally go for about $9 to $10 when you ship them out. And then by the time you stack on like signature confirmation and insurance and all that stuff, it can get up there to about 15, $20. You can make this thing as cheap or as expensive as you want to. But the big selling feature of this, the box, ladies and gentlemen, the box is the one thing that they don't have to say anything about, but they can just keep stacks of them in their cubby out in the lobby for you to use. All right? In case you haven't seen these at work. All right? These are actually an engineering marvel and do-it-yourself boxes. Like, it takes me a split second to actually put these together. There, see? Like it's nothing. You can tell that someone's put together hundreds of these when they could put it together without even looking at it. All right? I kind of have the feel for these. But, they have the self-adhesive. You don't even need to supply your own tape if you don't want to. Hey, let's go ahead and finish up the packaging. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and seal her up, And this is all shit that you can do at the post office, because you'll walk up to the counter and they'll say, hey, for what you got, you should just do this. And this straddles the line between what they call ground advantage, which is just an overglorified name for first class, although you could send actual parcels under ground advantage, whereas under the old first class system, you couldn't do that. So this kind of straddles the line between the lower, ground advantage option to the more expensive stuff, because you could just as easily take a package that's about this big that probably has like 1 to 2, 3 pounds of stuff in it. You could go to FedEx, you could go to UPS and do their ground service on a similar size package and be right around $9 to $10. But the guarantee with this is they get it to where it's going, I think within 3 business days. Whereas with ground on those FedEx and UPS side, it's 5 to 7 days, so there's no guarantee. It could take 8 days and they would be okay with it, but that's an understanding between them and the customer. But these things, man, they look damn good, It's like, that's it. It's plug and play. All right? But, this right here has one major fatal flaw. See that? Now, on the back of this, I have information. I got my wife and then her friend's address. You know how far this thing traveled? Spent $11 on it, which means they actually got probably some other additional service attached to this. Might be insurance, or something like that. It weighs 3 ounces, which is barely anything. But you guys see that right here? You see how you just open that up right there? You know? Both sides came like that. This came today, ladies and gentlemen. Fortunately, the item is still in there, but you know how many things I've had sent to me in this very box? I had a $500 Aaron Judge rookie card that's graded by PSA that was sent in one of these. That was missing when it came to me. And this was about 5-6 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, because his rookie card was from 2017. A very expensive card by today's standards because he's done a few things, you know? But you guys see the flaw in this? It's like if you weren't paying attention, I'm not saying stupid is the word to describe the people that use this, but if you're not paying attention, you could take the box that I had just sealed up, and especially if you've done this at the post office, you see that, guys? Boom. You can open that puppy up and you can just remove the shit. You know? And that's from a post office employee point of view. They know about this issue, guys. And you could take it, you could reseal it by hand, you know, like such, like what I just did there. And look, you can't even tell that anybody's opened this up. But to the untrained shipping professional, that should be you and I, because we're trying to get into business here of selling quality goods, but you got to make sure it gets there to begin with. This right here is a fucking liability for every business owner that exists on this god green earth, especially when they have corporate accounts with the USPS, because at the end of the day, even though you signed on that contract that you're going to do business with the USPS at a reduced contracted rate, it's not like they're getting in bed with you with this, right? Because they still serve things like this, you know, where there's an out. It's almost like you use this and then you forgot to put a piece of tape over these two very delicate areas of this box. If you don't have tape handy to wrap these two areas, you're fucked. And people send expensive ass shit in these all the time. I sell coins, I sell currency, sports cards. I probably sell the most expensive stuff that you could possibly ever imagine. Guess what? All of those items are portable enough that they could go in here. The problem is when they try and sell you on this idea, because the cost is cheaper, the time it takes for it to get to its destination is a huge selling point. It is an ultimate amount of liability to a business when something like this is being presented to the businesses, to the people that depend on it. They depend on quality. Like, come on now. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is like, we don't think about it, but it's one component as to why we fail as a business. If you sent off, for example, a $500 item, and generally at the worst, what you want to do is at least get a signature, right? If you didn't want to pay the extra $8 to insure it, it's expensive. It's like $1 or $2 for every $50, you know, somewhere in there. You know, it can get pretty pricey. As a small business owner, like a lot of you are, that's crippling. And then you send it off in this thing, and it's like, you know, high quality box packaging. You get the kind of like the butterflies in your stomach. You know, it's like, you know, you're meeting your spouse for the first time, you know, back when you're like 21 years old, you know, before you have your first date, and, you know, you're macking on her, and it's like, wow, you know, she's like really hot, and, you know, she's got that sweet, scintillating voice that just captivates you. That's what the post office is. This is sweet, scintillating voice right here in your fucking ear. You know, it's like, use me, use me. And guess what? You send that puppy off, and if you don't cover your ass, and it's a shame that you have to say this, if you don't do a signature, if you don't do insurance, if you don't do two pieces of tape on the box, Fuck you. Screw you. Now, is 2025 going to be like that? Is 2025 going to be the token, like too perfect to ignore, packaging for our shipping future? I hope not. But it's like, damn, we have to cover all our bases now because DTA, don't trust anyone. Yeah, we live in a world where, people will say, oh, inflation's going down. Oh, I know it hasn't. My gasoline's still over 350 a fucking gallon, and you know it costs a fortune to drive across the state. It's like I'm not bought in. I'm not bought in. I'm not saying that we should go back to 1985. When gas was under $1 and we were all living fat and happy. A dozen eggs were 59 cents or whatever. It's like that's not what I'm saying. But if things are going to be expensive, how about be a little bit of perceived quality? The same way that us as business owners are projecting to our clients. The post office is not hurting. They were hurting 15 years ago when they were truly worried about a full, digital online automation of all the packaging. And it's like, well, if people are going to be doing, their shipping labels and stuff like that online, why do they need the post office, right? They were seriously worried about that. Now they're making money hand over fist over the automation. They've gotten themselves very fully, deeply involved with everything. And it's like, if you're questioning the number one hottest selling USPS, product, then you have to kind of question all the other things too. Like the flat rate envelopes. This one has a window. Surprisingly, this is the only one I have with a window. The other ones are just blank. But by the time you fold this sucker up, and all that stuff, and it's got the adhesive. Again, that's that warm and fuzzy reassurance. This thing is flimsy. The FedEx rigid envelope like this is like 5 times better in quality. It's thicker. It's like you don't have to worry about the thing tearing when you're sitting there throwing it onto conveyor belts. So what am I trying to get at here? Is just be careful. I think ultimately we all have to kind of safeguard our most expensive shipments, and it always goes down to this question, as a business owner, what can we afford to lose, right? If we ended up shipping a $20 item, we have to sit there and consciously think, if that thing gets lost, am I ready to eat? Am I ready to eat that? And if the answer is no, you're going to have to spend more of your hard-earned money to ensure that package gets there. And the hard-earned money that you have to spend eats into the profit. It's like, where do we win in all of this, right? Is really what it comes down to. And that's kind of where, the inflation and rising prices of some of the other things that people sell comes into play. Things are not as cheap as it appears because all of the intangibles have not been talked about. Now it's time to really talk about it because we're heading into a new year. And if we're, looking to move the needle in what we want to do, if we want to stop working the traditional 9 to 5 and we want to be more entrepreneurs, then we have to kind of like be like more forward thinking about things. It might just be that we don't use these anymore. It's fine to use USPS for your shipping, but probably go out there, go to Uline, but buy your own boxes and packaging that suits you better. I've done that. I've actually started doing that this year. I'm ordering from Uline like a regular business, and sure, it's not cheap, but you buy in bulk. Again, that's the forward thinking thing. You got to know that you're going to continuously use the same boxes. So instead of like ordering the 100 that you need for now, order 1,000 and just put it on a corporate card or on a credit card, or just pay cash for it, whatever the case may be. But always think long term. Like, what do you need? Buy in bulk, save money, and it should be okay. I'm sorry to kind of air out my dirty laundry feelings about the USPS, especially on the last day of the year, but it's kind of been that year. It's like let's kind of like refresh, let's or recharge the batteries here. Start thinking about different innovative ways that we could forge forward in what we want to do to not work for the man anymore. And especially in this industry of high end collectibles that are quite expensive, some of them not replaceable. Yeah, it's like it's time to time to change things up a little bit. And it might be time for you guys to change too if you're also kind of thinking the same thing I am. Like, it's like things are broken right now. How do we fix it? Yeah, it's just going to take some collaborative work. I would say. So that's what I wanted to talk about. You guys have a great new year. I'll see you guys here tomorrow. PCMR on New Year's Day. Exciting stuff. It's going to be a brand new freaking year. It's going to be awesome. And you guys are going to be awesome with me. We're going to have fun in 2025. We're getting ready for a pretty big event here in about 13 months. That's to really shake up the industry. And I want you to be there for that. All right. So you guys take care. Be safe out there on New Year's Eve. And designate a driver. All right. See ya.